You ever look around at your life and think, how in the hell did I get here? Or even worse, where in the hell am I going with all this? Because that's sort of how I'm feeling right now. And honestly, I'm a little terrified that I just peaked a little freaking early. Because at 13, I was building water purification systems in Cambodia. At 20, I was hitchhiking across Haiti and raising thousands of dollars to build toilets to combat cholera. At 23, I launched an ethical leather accessory business and I worked with artisans all across Morocco. And now at 35 years old, I just feel like I'm starting at square one all over again. And don't get me wrong, from the outside looking in, I'm aware that my life looks pretty idyllic right now. I travel full time with a partner I adore and a house that we built with our own 4 hands. And then for the past 4 months, we've been living on the beaches of Mexico, eating tacos and soaking in the sunshine. But outside of all that, I just feel like I've lost my spark, my chutzpah, my get up and go. And honestly, it's not without reason. You see, back in May of 2021, Ben and I returned back to the US after living almost 8 years at Morocco. We bought our bus before we ever even boarded the plane, and we began converting it the moment we returned back. Our original plan of completing the build within 6 months is absolutely laughable, because in December of 2022, with a still incomplete build, we finally tried to set sail on our maiden voyage, only to make it 2 miles down the road before our hydraulic brakes completely broke on us. What we thought would be a simple few-week repair ended up turning into a months-long repair, which left us to endure yet another winter in the Great Gray North. Anywho, in May of 2023, we did finally hit the road, and it felt so good to be on the road, be in some warmth, and finally get to enjoy some of what we've been working so hard for. But boy, were we tired. Conversions are brutal, and adjusting to life on the road is a process, especially when you're juggling work and finishing projects as money and time allows. That October dealt us another blow when I was very unexpectedly laid off from my main freelancing gig, which was a huge hit not only to our income, but also to my self-esteem. But exciting things were also in the works, because it was around that time that we were introduced to an investor out west who was interested in working with us to build a glamping retreat center, which had been a long-term dream for us for as long as I can remember. The following few months were an absolute whirlwind as we tried to wrap up our remaining bus projects and get ready to head out west. From March to May of 2024, we built a beautiful off-grid luxury retreat center from the ground up. And it was like some sort of euphoria to see something come from a vision to a real life reality. And by June, we were welcoming people at our retreat center. Sadly though, the team behind the project was absolutely crumbling. And for too many reasons to count, plus an actual wildfire, we ended up having to walk away from that project and everything that we had worked so hard to build. Heartbreaking, it doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of how it felt to walk away from that project. So from there, we took to the forest to try to process, regroup, and heal. And boy, was it a process. I was angry and frustrated and so full of anxiety about what I should be doing, how I should be spending my time, and just constant wondering about what was going to come next. Moving out west had put us in an even worse financial position. And the worst part was we had no community at all. I felt lost and frustrated, and the lie that anything I tried to do was doomed for failure really started to set in. On the good days, I would be able to get myself outside and flex my creative muscles. But honestly, there weren't that many good days. And a lot of the time, I struggled to get out of bed. When I did make it out of bed, a lot of my time was spent frantically applying to jobs, only to not hear back, have these lies that I was feeding myself be reaffirmed, and sink further into the depression. That fall brought some new and very unexpected challenges in the form of health issues, both with family members and myself. What I thought was a scratched eye from a bunch of dust ended up being news that I could lose my vision. excuse me, but by September, a fresh wind and a fresh fire did come in the form of us attending our first nomadic event. It was there that we really finally found our community on the road. Fall was absolutely full of friends, shared meals, and new experiences. It's also what led us here to the beaches of Baja. But now that we're here, sitting in one dream realized, it's time for me to get back on top of my shit and dream a new dream. Because as I've been processing over the past few years, I've really come to realize that there's a lot of work I need to do on myself, for myself. So that's why I'm here. Because in October, I'll be turning 35 years old. So for the next 6 months, I'm committing to doing everything in my power to build the life of my dreams. And I'm talking like a full life overhaul, because it's time for me to boss up and tackle some real adult shit that I've been avoiding. And I'm going to be taking you along for every step of the journey as I do the hard work of going through all my limiting self-beliefs, deconstructing all of the things that no longer serve me, rewiring my neural pathways, redefining who I am and what I'm capable of in terms of health, wealth, money, finances, a new business. There's so much over the next 6 months that I'm going to be unpacking, and I'm going to take you along for the ride. So if you made it this far, thank you. Now go ahead and give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and I'll see you back here next week because we've got daydreams to build.